Good evening. We have started the storage classes. We have not seen the slides, that is what I suppose. I directly showed you that whiteboard, how the data segment is there, and how memory is allocated from the stack part of data segment. There is a global and local storage class at the broad category, and we have started discussing local storage class. So local storage class has got three subdivisions. One is auto, another is register, and third is static. Right? And global storage class has got two uh, subdivisions, subcategories as static and external, if you can recall. In the last session, that is in the first session of storage class, we have finished that auto, right? Auto storage class. Today we will see register and static. So let me open the IDE first. Okay. So first of all, let's go through the some slides which I have not yet covered. Basically, these slides are not that much important. Just a revision. So basic data types are integer, character, and float. That is a real. You are aware about that. Then integer data type. Usually 4 bytes of memory is taken. Okay, these days almost all compilers, all IDEs give you 4 bytes of memory for integer data type. For old DOS based TC compilers, integer was taking 2 bytes of memory. So range is there -214748 to 3648. Right now, you don't need to remember this. By the time you go on programming, you will definitely come to know that what are the ranges of that integer and float and all these things. As far as modifiers are concerned, there is a signed and unsigned. Signed is by default, and unsigned is if you want to store positive numbers only, right? So in that case, range is doubled, but memory is that much only. So if you when you write unsigned int x, definitely uh, 4 bytes of memory will be given only, but range is doubled because range starts from 0 onwards, right? So multiple combinations can be there. That there could be a signed int, but we don't need to write like that signed int because signed is by default. So signed int, unsigned int, signed short. Short is also data type. Rarely these are used these days. Unsigned short is there. Right? I think short takes 2 bytes of memory. If I'm not wrong, yes, short takes 2 bytes of memory these days. Uh, there is a char data type. We have used this. 1 byte of memory is given. The range is -1 to 8 to +1 to 7. Right? There could be a signed char and unsigned char. Basically, character. There are no chances that character is no negative. Okay, but they have made the provisions which are not of use. So again, if it is a regular char, which is a signed char, range will be -1 to 8 to +1 to 7. If it is unsigned char, then range will be 0 to 255. So +1 to 7 to 255 +1 to +255. That is ASCII extended ASCII character set, right? Then real data type, we know that float also takes 4 bytes these days, -3.4 e raised to 38 to +3.4 e raised to 38. Double is there as well. There is nothing like signed double or unsigned double. Students make sometimes mistake. There is no signed float and unsigned float, right? So double takes 4 bytes of memory and long double is there. just like a long int, long double is there. It takes 10 bytes of memory. The range is huge. Minus 1.7 e raised to, that is 10 raised to 4932, very huge range. 2 plus 1.7 e raised to, that is a 10 raised to 4932, right? So this is just a revision. I talked about this last session, dimensions of variable. So variable has got time dimension and scope dimension, right? Scope dimension is the one which can be defined as the region in a program in which that variable is accessible or that variable is visible. That is a scope dimension of a variable. Time means that variable is alive. Okay, so for that much duration, whether the variable is alive or not. Then these are broad categories which I talked about last time: local variable and global variable. Local variable means a variable which is declared inside a function, that we call it as a local variable. Variable declared outside function, we call it as a global variable, right? Now, local variable, this has got three categories as auto, static, and register. We are going to start from this point. So auto, you have already seen that. Let's have some discussion along with programs, hmm, live programs about static and register, right? I will declare one variable storing. So suppose I declare a variable as int num, right? If I write for num equals 1, num less than or equal to suppose 5, num plus plus, call some function, which function I can call? Suppose print something. Okay, just calling the function print something. That's it. Okay, I'll write the prototype here. It is not going to return anything. Print something. If I write void print something. If I declare a variable as suppose it's here, right? So the variable num has been declared inside main function, right? Actually, it should be right count. So this is a loop counter. So this is the loop counter. Now this variable is a auto variable, right? And this is also a auto variable, right? This is also a auto variable. So if I run this code, what we have done, inside loop, which is going to execute, which is going to be executed 5 times. So 5 times this function will be called, right? 5 times this function will be called. So 5 times this function will be executed, right? Now when I run this program, you may feel that the output will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, like that, right? That is what you feel if you have learned functions. But if I run this program, it will be a 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, right? I'll put here slash n. You will get the output as 5 times 5, right? Now, why does this happen? This happens because each time the control goes inside this function, okay? When count is 1, this function will be called. Control goes inside this function, right? First time when count is 1, this function will be called. The control goes to this function. Now, when control goes to this function, as I explained yesterday, so this is your main function, right? And this is your other function, right? And somewhere here, you have called that function. Somewhere here, you have called that function, right? So what happens? As far as, see, I told you this is very important, which is not taught, and I'm trying to teach you. For variables, I told you that stack is created, right? Because when you declare a variable here, okay, then variable you declare somewhere here, then suppose this is one variable, uh, this is suppose another variable, and suppose this is third variable, right? So I told you that a stack is created, right? And suppose you have declared three variables, then those will be pushed onto the stack as x, y, and z, right? So these three variables will be pushed onto the stack. So for this, stack is maintained. Similarly, if you have declared some function here, again separate stack is maintained. Now, for functions also, a stack is maintained. Okay, so for this function, a separate stack is maintained, right? So when you call the main function, the main will be pushed onto the stack, right? Now when control goes to, what is the name of this function? Suppose the name of this function is print something, right? This is the name of the function which we have called. Hmm? So when this function is called, right? When this function is called from this point, then this is pushed onto the stack. So print something function is pushed onto the stack. Now what happens when the control is for this is called, right? When control goes inside the function, this function is called, right? Now when this function is called, print something is pushed onto the stack. Hmm? And inside print something function, we have declared what variable? I think we have declared variable as x. Okay, so x is there, right? So another stack is created, right? And x is pushed here, right? Now when control leaves this function, when control leaves this function, this x is pushed, popped out of the stack. Okay, x is removed. And I told you yesterday that compiler cannot maintain an empty stack. Okay, so this stack is also removed. Okay, so this is removed and this is also removed. So no more stack is there. Since no more stack is there, when through this statement, okay, through this statement, when a function is called, hmm, when control leaves, because this function has been called inside the loop, when control leaves this function, the stack is the x is popped, stack is destroyed, and at the same time, this print something which the name of the function that is also popped. Okay, so that is the reason the next time again control goes inside the function, again new stack is created, again x is pushed onto the stack. Okay, and that is the reason, okay, when you run this program, each time you will get value of x as 5. Okay, because each time this function is called, each time the stack is created, each time the x is pushed onto the stack, the new variable is allocated, new memory is allocated, rather new variable is created, new memory is allocated, then it will print again for you. The value of x is incremented here. Okay, so x becomes 10, but as soon as the control leaves this uh, closing brace, okay, leaves this function, okay, and when control goes outside the closing brace of this function, okay, the stack is destroyed, x is popped, x is no more, and this function which has been pushed onto the stack, that is also popped, and that function is no more in the memory, right? So again when control goes again inside the function, the whole process is repeated. So creation of function, creation of x, increment of x is repeated 5 times. Only because why? You have called this function 5 times from main function. Since I have not taught you functions yet, um, okay, but you may not. I don't know how far you understand the concept of functions, but you have learned functions, I think, in colleges, so you may not face that many problems. Now, if I write here static, if I write here static, and I run the program, you will get answer is 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. See here, got that? So if you want to, you know, if you don't want to lose the earlier value of variable in particular function, if you don't, if you want to carry it forward, okay, in that case, we declare variable as static. So that is a static local variable. Got that? So what is the static local variable? Static local variable in case of static is the keyword, right? The variable is initialized to 0 by default, right? So if you suppose don't write here, auto variable is initialized to garbage value, but if you don't initialize static variable, you will get 0, 5, 10, 15, and like that. Okay. So see that you'll get the answer as 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. So what does it mean? Static variable is initialized to 0 by default if you do not initialize. Uh, static variable can be initialized only once. What do you mean? Initialize only once means suppose I write here 5. Okay. This statement is executed only once because next time control goes inside, there are fair chances that again 5 will be stored in X, which happens in case of auto variable. That doesn't take place in case of if it is a static variable. Why? Because 5 is, I mean, this variable I have said here, static variable can be initialized only once. So this, since this is the initialization statement, this statement is executed only once when control goes inside the function first time. Right? This is not at all taught. Huh? Next is scope of a static variable is limited to the block in which it is defined. Okay, so if I suppose try to print x is equal to %d, suppose if I write here x, program will give an error. Why? Program will give an error. Why it gives an error? It will say it is not defined. X is not defined because scope of this x is limited to this function because it has been declared. It has been defined inside this function. Right? However, life, because scope is one dimension, life is another dimension. However, life of a static variable is till control goes outside main function. What is the life? When control goes first time inside this function, okay, except static variable, everything is destroyed. Even function is also destroyed. But static variable is alive. So that's why when next time control goes inside the function, this function, static variable is it is not died. Auto variables are died. Okay, nowhere they exist in the memory, but static variables are alive. So this variable is alive till control goes outside the main function at the end. Till that moment, static variables are alive. Mhm. Static variables are given memory from static global region of the data segment. Right? Static or global region. Yesterday I showed you that static or global region, if you can remember. Okay. I Here I will draw. So this was a data segment, right? So at the top there was static. This is heap, right? And this is static and global memory area, right? This is static or global memory area. So static variable, whatever you declare, it will be given memory here. Okay, 4 bytes of memory will be given here, right? So this will be memory given for that variable x, which is declared as a static. I will show you how to check that. I will print the, for your reference, I will print the address of x count, because count is the auto variable. We'll print the address of count %q /n and ampersand. Perhaps this is the reason this storage class is taught after the function chapter, right? But since you have already learned function in the college, may not be in detail, but some concepts you have learned. Hmm? At least terminology is not completely new. And here I will print. Okay, it will be printed that many times because function has been called 5 times, right? What I will do, I will print the address here only. %u /n ampersand x, right? So you can see, you can compare. We can compare. I will declare one more variable, int I, right? I'll also print the %d /t and %u and then /n. I will print the values of I as well, right? And ampersand address of that I variable. Okay? So everything we will try to, we will explore that, right? Because it will help you to understand the data segment. So it is here. See here. This is value of x when control goes inside the machine first time. Now see the address. See the address of x. 4222976. Is there a huge difference between this address and this address? Isn't it? Right? This is address of static variable. This is address of I. Address of I, which is an auto variable inside a function. And these are this is just a junk value 642 642,476. This is the garbage value, right? We will assign some value so that you are not get confused because of that, right? So this is value of contents of I, and this is address of I. So you can see the difference. This is the somewhere around, what is the value? 64 lakh 22,000. and this is 42 lakh 22,000. So huge difference is there, which I showed you yesterday, between the stack and the static or global area, right? So they are quite apart from each other, quite away from each other. So I think, and address of count. See, this is 642268. Okay, so this is somewhere near here because I is auto variable and count is also auto variable. Okay, so they are near to each other. So my address of 40 bytes is there. Okay? Only 40 bytes is there. But here there is the address of how many lakh? 64 lakh and 42 lakh. So 20 lakh. They are away from each other by 22 lakh bytes. Hmm? So this is about static variable. I think this much you have understood what is the static variable, right? Next, I gave the name register and wrote program for the static. Actually, I have given the name as register. I'll give the name as register 2 now. Hmm? Suppose I declare a variable as int I. Simple loop I will write. Hmm? I equals 1, I less than or equal to, suppose 1000, I plus equal to suppose 5. Right? I write printf percent d percent suppose 10d. Right? I write. Okay. Some loop I have written. I is equal to 1, I 0, right? It will print 5, 10, 15, this, that. Okay, we know that. Okay. It will print numbers from 0 onwards till 1000. Okay, with the step of 5. Okay, so it will be 0, 5, 10 because we added 5 to the earlier value of I. Now, what I want to tell you is that this is just a silly example. Okay, I want to explain just what is a register variable. Register variable is only a part of C language. Register, I think, is not there. Some that concept was there only in C language. I think in C++ it is there. In Java, Python, or all other languages, register kind of thing is not there. Hmm? So register is a keyword, right? It's not given memory from the data segment, but occupies place in the CPU register. That's why it is a register. CPU has got registers. Right? You are a computer engineer and electronics engineer. They know CPU has got registers. I don't know whether you have got that separate subject or not, but you might be having. So CPU has got some 15, 20, 25, 30. Some registers are there because when value is fetched from the memory, whatever, some value is fetched from the memory. Okay, like suppose sum is equal to x plus y. So how does this statement is executed? Value of of sum is fetched from the memory. Memory means data segment. Because in the data segments there is a variable with whose name is sum. It has got some value, right? Okay, sum. Now sum doesn't have a value, right? But definitely some will contain some garbage. Okay. Similarly, what will happen? Value of x will be fetched, right? Value of y will be fetched. When value of x and y are fetched from the data segment, because CPU is going to add two numbers x and y, right? So value of x is fetched, value of y is fetched, but they want to make additions. That arithmetic logical unit will do that. Arithmetic unit will do that, right? But before making additions, the value of x has to be stored temporarily somewhere. Okay. So what is that area? CPU register. That register are very volatile. Okay. So there is one register. It keeps the value of x over there. There is another register. It keeps the value of y over there. Add those. So arithmetic unit yeah, of ALU, arithmetic logical unit of CPU. So add those numbers and some result is there. Suppose x contains 5 and y contains 10. So 15 result is there. That 15 is returned by the CPU and stored in the some temporary register over there. And that value in the temporary register is returned to the variable sum in the data set. That is how CPU works. Why CPU works like that? Because for making calculations in a faster manner, CPU has got fast access to contents of register and not variables in the data segment, because it is in the RAM, whereas CPU register has inbuilt, right? So inbuilt memory, CPU has got inbuilt memory in the form of registers. Dennis Ritchie thought that why not programmer may need some variable, okay, to get the memory inside the CPU registers. If particular variable is getting accessed again and again and again. Likewise, I wrote this loop. This I is a variable which is available in the this thing where in the CPU. No, I'm not making any calculations here. Okay, but suppose some calculations are there. Okay, suppose some variable is there. Right? Suppose some variable is there like sum. Sum is equal to 0, and some variable is there like sum is equal to sum plus I. Right? Sum is equal to sum plus I. And printing at the end, I'm printing sum as sum of all numbers. Right? So in this case, value of I is again and again and again required. Right? So Dennis Ritchie just gave a solution on this, because this I will be fetched from the memory how many times? 1000 times. Okay, not at least, I think 200 times. Yes, 200 times minimum it will be fetched, right? 200 times it will be fetched. So instead of that, LCG says that why not declare this? Because once you execute this program, this will be executed, right? Sum is there. This will be executed, right? So there is a sum. But this I is fetched 200 times from the data segment by the CPU. The DLCG says that just declare this variable as a register, right? But note, note that register is a request to the compiler. It may be obeyed by the compiler, it may not be obeyed by the compiler. We don't know. Okay? Because registers are very few in number. So it may be honored by the compiler, it may not be honored. Whether it is honored or not, you will not come to know. Right? So that I am saying the word as it is a request to the compiler. It is not command, it is not ordeal, it is not directive, it is just plain request. Right? If the request is not honored, then variable will be treated as auto. Right? So all rules, all features of register variable are like that of auto. All rules are same, okay? Except that memory. Auto variable is given storage from the memory or the stack, whereas register variable is given storage from the CPU register. This is the only difference. Otherwise, like auto. So what I mean, so the register variable has got scope limited to the block in which it is declared. So scope is like auto variable. Life same like auto variable, right? So life will, I mean, the variable will be no more when control goes outside that function. The register will be died, right? Similar to the auto variable, and similar to the auto variable, by default it is not. It is. It contains garbage value, like the register value. Okay, it contains some garbage value. So suppose I don't initialize this, okay, it will contain some garbage. Okay, some zero. So there is no question of some zero means I has got some value which is more than I has got some junk value which is more than 1000. So that's why loop is not executed. So it prints sum as zero. That's it. Because sum has been initialized to zero. That's the meaning of that, right? I hope you have understood all these things. Register variable and static variable. Right? We have finished that part. Tomorrow we will continue. Tomorrow we'll finish this chapter, storage classes, because only two parts are remaining. One is a static, a global static, and external. These two concepts are remaining in this chapter. There are no assignments as such. These are the concepts which we use, right, in the program.